Hello.
Hey.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Good. Yeah.
Is this Daniel?
Yes, this is Daniel.
Daniel Holzberg. Yeah. Well, I'm Shakira Shahbar. I'm the director of the Rabat Festival, and very happy to be here for this interview, and very happy also to talk about your movie.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You are the director of the movie, aren't you?
Yes, I directed it and I wrote it together with the main actor.
And you wrote together. Okay.
Yeah, we wrote it together.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, Rabat-Comedy is very happy to have this movie this year. The theme is very interesting, and it's a situation where I suppose a lot of foreigners in Europe can relate to this movie, because because of how people see them, and how people like to put them in certain roles,
Yeah, in boxes basically. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so who's behind this idea? Both of you talking, and you came up with the idea, or how did you came out with this?
Kind of both of us. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, before I started studying directing, I trained to become an actor, and Ercan, who plays the main role in the film, was my mentor. And the first role I got to play on television was a Nazi. And I remember Ercan said, "Oh man, I'm never going to get to play something like that." So that was sort of the friendship and the fun idea. And then about 5 years later, I came up with the idea for the film, inspired by what he'd said. But I mean, yeah, the inspiration was just that kind of racial profiling and typecasting that you get in film and television. I mean, it was always like, I mean, Idris Elba, for example, has said a lot about this. Like, typecasting in the UK is like, in the beginning, you always got cast as the drug dealer or the criminal. And yeah, that was just kind of where we thought, we want to do something that broadens your imagination in a way, in a fun kind of extreme provocative, or sort of provocative funny way, just so that you can open up your mind and think about, okay, maybe I see this a bit differently now.
Yeah. Well, I can relate to that. Here in Morocco, we receive foreign productions, very often. And these last years, because we have this terrorist theme, coming, all the time. People like to do movies on terrorism. Most people, Moroccans, actors are called upon, to play this kind of roles. And it's funny because the main thing is to have a beer, for example. So a lot of actors keep their beer, in case.
Yeah, so that they can get rolled. Yeah, it's the same in the movie. I mean, the agent says he'll shave it off.
Exactly. So we can relate to that, because they're looking for actors to play exactly those roles and not other roles. And it's well, sometimes to get the bar to work, you can't do anything about it. But in the case of your character, it's even it goes deeper. The wound is deeper, because I suppose that the actor now lives in Austria, and maybe he's Austrian now, or maybe his nationality, I don't know. But the character, I don't know what nationality he's holding. Although he is maybe of a Turkish background, I suppose. No.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because he was born in Turkey, as far as I know, but he grew up in Germany, and he sees it. We filmed it in Germany, but he's German, Turkish,
and he's. Sorry, I don't know why.
No worries. I like the film was. It's born from the Austrian Vienna Film Academy, but we shot it in Germany because I'm from Germany and he's from Germany. But he's German. more probably than he is Turkish. And I have loads of friends. I have an Indian actor friend who's often like, he'll always get the taxi driver or the funny Indian neighbor. And he's actually like, the way he behaves and the way he talks and the attitudes are, I'd have to say, more typically German than anything else. Like, it's just, people get put in boxes because of the way they look or because of what you expect of them in a way. And it's about going into the essence of what someone is, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and especially in a comedy where we have always this kind of competition between essence and identity of the main character. It's deep inside is something, and then obviously the identity is built by society and by your reaction to get by, to be able to get by in society, and then it puts you very often into dilemma, some kind of dilemmas that can be exploited by a comedy. They like this kind of dilemmas. It could,
no, I mean, and it's interesting you said it is a dilemma that, like you're saying, like society sort of gives you an identity, and you sort of, in a way, you almost feel a pressure to conform to this kind of identity, like you said with the beards. There's a play in Germany called Andorra about a young man who the whole town is against him because he's Jewish. It's an older play and set in a different time, but they go against him because he's Jewish, and in the end it actually turns out that he's not Jewish at all, that his father lied, that he was actually adopted or something. There's a twist in the play, but there's a scene where he says, well, I guess I am Jewish because you all say I'm Jewish and I act this way, like I always think of money and I'm always watching, I like all the cliches, then I guess I am. And it's almost a frustrated act in the end. It's a drama, it ends very bad.
We live in a world that tries to unite because people travel all over, and people live all over now, and the immigration is. But at the same time, we build a lot of walls inside the societies. It's a funny one. It's probably some kind of reaction, especially reaction by people who are afraid of change, are afraid of problems, are afraid that, and then it's very easy then to just say, okay, we should do this, we should that, we should let these guys away, put them away, etc. And you see this, we see a lot of political movements also built on this kind of fears, and so it's interesting. Your movie goes into the heart of this fight, of this.
I'm glad it came across.
And comedy is also a very very subtle way of bringing these problems, which are problems of, as you said, racism, of a lot of bad feelings, bad human feelings that build on this kind of situations. Yet when you, I suppose that was your choice to decide to make a comedy out of it, and then just put that light manner of telling a very heavy and serious problem in society.
Well, I think we just had the feeling it was never a serious discussion. Should it be a drama or should it be a comedy? Because I just think that the whole premise gives a lot of room for comedy. But I also have the feeling that in tendency, there's always the danger with a comedy that people don't take it seriously. They kind of shrug it off. But I also have the feeling that if you put it in a comedy, then people are a bit more willing to talk about it. If it's sort of discussed in a humorous way, it's always difficult. Dramatic films sometimes have the tendency to sort of wag the finger kind of thing, and the comedy opens up a bit more of a lighter room for discussion, like where you start talking, well, could I really watch a film like this, or maybe I'd actually want to see this movie. I mean, so yeah, I think that was the idea behind the comedy.
Yeah.
And it was interestingly enough, Ercan, when he was sort of thinking about how to play the Hitler role in the audition scene, he was saying his greatest inspirations were actually Charlie Chaplin and Taika Waititi, which are more comedic approaches towards the role of Hitler, I'd say, because they kind of also, and his belief was that even with such a historic imagery character that has such a context and pretext, that the best way to play the character is to somehow bring something to yourself in there and to a certain extent have fun with it. And so that approach also seemed, because you get very sort of serious, dogmatic portrayals of Hitler also in Germany.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you've seen if you know Louis de Funès, French actor, Louis de Funès.
Yes, I have seen a couple of things.
So and I don't know if you've seen that movie where he's a chef. He's a restaurant owner, and then this policeman calls him and he says, my colleague here, German colleague, would like to know your recipe for I don't know what, some kind of recipe, and then he starts saying it in German, the recipe, and then just by a shadow thing, he put himself in the
shadow,
and then we see his mustache, and then he looks like Hitler.
and then he starts talking like him.
He starts talking like Hitler. It was very funny to see how somebody can take a role of someone very mean, and it could be frightening, because as soon as you start playing this role, then we tend to believe,
no, I remember that scene. That was a good scene.
So it's and it's a fine line, the comedy is also you laugh because you can say, oh, he's so true, it's it's saying the truth, in fact, comedy, maybe more than drama, saying the truth. Once you get the point, it's really the truth. It's not about human nature.
I also think, comedy comes from a deeper tragedy, I think. And like my dad's a Latin and Greek professor, and like from a intellectual point of view, he always said the Greeks never really made a difference between tragedies and comedies. The only difference was the ending.
The only thing was the ethics.
The only difference was the ending. That, like back in the ancient Greece, I think the only difference was the tragedy ends badly and the comedy ends well. Although actually this comedy doesn't end well for him. Like he doesn't get the part. So
you're right. Well, some people say that the Greeks didn't pay much attention to comedy as much as drama and tragedy, but I believe more what you say, because in the Mediterranean in general, there is a very, very big tradition of comedy, telling stories to make people laugh, yet with a point behind, at the end, you need to live with some kind of a point made about this thing that made you laugh. It's something very common around the Mediterranean. So what's your basically your experience, cinema experience? I suppose this is not your first film, or is it?
Well, I worked as an actor, so I was in a couple of smaller television and film roles, and but I always was interested in making movies, and I made one or two small movies, and then I started studying at the Vienna Film Academy, and this is my first bigger movie while studying.
Well, it's well. So you are actually still studying in the Vienna Film Academy. It's very much studying, like the film academies in Germany, because each region in Germany has a film academy. I've been doing some work with one of them, the film academy.
Oh, which one?
We had 2 years ago. We had the writing writing program with the
which city is it, like Berlin or Hamburg or
no, it wasn't Berlin, it was I'm not sure,
Munich,
either Düsseldorf or
Cologne maybe.
Yeah, I'll give you the information. In fact,
look it up.
Very interesting. It was a series writing program, helping us write series.
Cool.
But so you're doing it's like a 3-4 year program. That would that's great. That's wonderful. And so comedy is why do you lead to comedy? You like to be able to express yourself more with comedy, or is it just because of this problem, this film, this theme, this you made a choice to?
Connection. Yeah, no, we're back. Sorry, the connection lost for a minute. I think just now it was for the topic mainly. I mean, I do like making comedies, and I'd maybe say that's more the direction I'd want to go in. But like I always think, find the right genre for the story in a way, I guess. So yeah, no, it's
it came naturally because of the way you wanna say it. And you have any projects in coming in terms of still movies?
The next one we're working on, we're just editing it, is a film about a child star who's now grown up and who he had a bit of a rough time in the industry, and he was kind of ruined a bit by the industry, and now he's trying to get away from that image, but he just gets recognized all the time, and journalists constantly want something from him. His mother is sort of disappointed that he never became a star and is still sort of bugging him. So that's a bit more of a drama. We made that.
And it will be a short also?
Also a short, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's you're doing your shorts before moving forward with the.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I'd love to start working on a feature or a TV series or something. I just gotta, I guess, find the right script, find the right topic, and then somehow try and get funding. I'm not sort of quite at the end of my studies yet, so I have that sort of protection bubble I'm still in. But yeah, of course, the goal at some point is to go longer. Definitely.
The school is in Vienna itself?
Yeah, it's in Vienna, and it's a nice school. Like, we were lucky because you asked about the comparison to Germany. The good thing about Vienna is that Austria is just quite small, and the film industry is very centered around Vienna. So you have access to really good people. Like Michael Haneke taught. He doesn't teach here anymore, but he taught us at the Film Academy, or Jessica Hausner, who's been in Cannes, and Wolfgang Mohnberger, who's quite big in television in Austria and Germany. So like, I had access to a couple of really inspirational filmmakers. So yeah.
So it's a nice place to study and make films.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Last year we had a film from he's originally from India, but he's a director and he lives in Austria, in Vienna. And he's made this film. He shot it in the States. It's called something Manhattan, about Manhattan. It's Manhattan something.
Is that Sandeep Kumar?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I've heard the name. I haven't met him personally, but I know of him. Like, yeah.
Very nice guy. Very nice guy.
Cool.
So he was with us last year with it was a comedy also, and it's funny because it looked like an American comedy. It was shot in New York, in Manhattan, with so you couldn't guess that it was an Austrian film made by somebody who's originally from India. And,
all right, cool.
So I suppose you have this community of filmmakers now that makes it interesting.
Yeah, well, I meet a lot of filmmakers in Austria, and also just the people you study with. You meet a lot of people that you then probably later work with, like lasting friendships are formed. Yeah. So actually, but the Rabat is how you pronounce the city, right?
Yeah,
I just want to.
the city, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask because I was actually thinking of maybe I might even be able to come over for the festival, but I'm not sure. When is it going to be on exactly? Is it end of June or
the festival will be from the 26th to the 30th. Unfortunately, this year we don't have the means. We were we were hoping to be able to bring in the at least a representative from each film, but this is our third year, and our sponsors still haven't made the decision to help us with that. But if you were to come, we could certainly find the means to house you and let you so that at least we do that.
Definitely.
But basically, Rabat is the capital. It's by Casablanca. Most flights fly to Casablanca. Or Marrakesh, those flights, touristic flights, go more toward Marrakesh, which is also, you come up to Rabat by train. It's a 3-hour or 4-hour thing by train. So yeah. So if you plan to come or other, just let me know so that you can we can follow a little bit.
It would be great, because I'm not sure if I could come for like the whole stretch. But when do you think you'll know, like on what day?
On one day we'll be showing your film. You have to give us a few more days because we're kind of trying now to program the screenings, and it should be. In a few days, we should be able to communicate that.
Sure.
So,
that sounds good. But please do tell me, because like I probably could take a couple of days off, and like the main actor. I mean, we still have a bit of sort of distribution budget left over, so it's okay. I mean, I totally understand that the housing would be great, but I totally get that you don't have enough to like bring over representatives. But I've never been to Rabat, so I figured it could be kind of nice just to come.
Well, it's a nice city. It's a nice city. There are things to see in it, and especially if you haven't been to Morocco, then it could be quite a change. It's an interesting place to visit for you, and interesting cuisine to taste, and
no, like I said, I'm trying to just let me know when, and I'll see if I can make it work. But yeah.
And the main actor is also the co-writer, and he's a professional actor, I suppose.
Yes, he's a professional actor. He's been in a lot of like German television stuff, and so a couple of movies as well. Yeah. He's actually like he's actually rarely had this typecasting problem. I mean, he's kind of sometimes he's been typecast and been given stupid directions like your German is too good and stuff like that, the stuff that's in the movie. But he's actually mostly like he's played a lot of policemen and a lot of lawyers. So
okay.
Kind of ironic,
because of his serious guy, very I can imagine him. Playing those.
No, but he's a very fun guy, and it was very nice to write he's a good writer as well. Like I remember we were writing the scene at the end with Riefenstahl, which has a sort of historic demand to it. Like I'd researched a lot, I'd read stuff about her, I'd read stuff she'd written, and I was very like in the research part of things, and so I was trying to write a historically accurate scene, and then he would add in all these sort of silly lines, like I think in it there's a line, the Americans will win all the medals anyway, and I have to watch this garbage. And he would add in these like lines like garbage, or his idea was also just to sort of add in a bit of modern language to spice it up a bit and make it a bit more graspable, I guess. Which was very good.
But bring it closer to what we are used to now. And here. Well, it was, I suppose, very fruitful collaboration.
Definitely.
The way you've done it, it's in cinema, when you can find people to collaborate with positively, it's always a very nice adventure.
Definitely, no, totally. It's when you find somebody you can write with, that's a really good feeling. I mean, do you where are you in the film industry, or do you mainly do the festival, or because you said you've done some writing?
Well, I myself, I'm a director also, and a script writer, and I've done a few films. I've done my first feature about a year ago. Nice. And I'm moving forward with my projects, basically. Feature films in the future, hopefully. And at the same time, we've created this festival about 3 years ago, and now this is the 3rd year. So we're trying to make of it a specialized, internationally recognized comedy festival. And we see that there is a big demand for comedy throughout the world, but there isn't really a place where the world of the comedy could meet, just like for the major festivals, but comedy. So this is the ambition of this festival, and we'll be working on it, and hopefully maybe bring in also some kind of a market for comedy, because comedy is, most of it is made more for commercially, but I would say not commercial, but it's here in Morocco anyway. The comedy films work very well in cinemas, but they're not very regarded very highly in festivals, and for some reason people think that cinema should be more serious cinema which is not, to me, it's not true. It's comedy is just as powerful as any other genre when it's well done.
I agree totally, and it's in a lot of ways it's harder to do. I'd say it's more difficult to make a comedy sometimes, and it's also a tendency you have in Vienna and Viennese, in Austrian festivals and German festivals. They will often favor the very heavy subject matter, the more dramatic type of films. And I agree. I think comedy has a high artistic value. I mean, for the reasons we talked about before, just bringing topics closer to people, and it hits you in a different emotional way if you can laugh about something, but then it makes a point.
Yeah, it does make a point. Yeah. So thank you so much for being with us today, and of course, I'll keep you posted. I'll send you that information, and hopefully we'll make it happen.
That'd be great. Like I'd really love to
come in here, and that would be great to have you, and best luck to your film in this competition. And
thank you.
Hopefully it will be a success for you, and thank you so much for being with us today. I'll let you know.
Of course, thank you for having us, and thank you for selecting the film, and I'm very happy that I hope the audience enjoys it.
All right, thanks again. Bye now. Take care.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.